Welcome back, viewers, to this edition of Focus on Africans. Yeah, we're still in Amsterdam, and today we're meeting a very interesting African, born in Nigeria. He's a chief from the eastern part of Nigeria, and today he has granted us the time to come and talk with him. Let me welcome Chief Akarigbo Okoro to Focus on Africans.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure. Yeah.
Okay, Chief Okoro, tell us something about yourself.
Well, as I spoke with you earlier, I'm from Abia State.
Yeah, from which town?
Abia State, from Umuahia.
Umuahia in Abia State.
Umuahia, yes.
That's in the southern, eastern part of Nigeria.
Southeast.
So,
yeah. Southeast of Nigeria, yes. So that's where I came from.
Umuahia.
Yes.
What are the things you remember from your youth when you were growing up?
Well, as I said, my mother, I came from a polygamous home, and fortunately for me, my father took me to live in Aba on his own. So I had to live with my father most of my youth life.
Okay, you're from a polygamous
family.
How many wives?
2 wives.
Okay.
So with about at that time, my father took me with about 10 children. At that time, but finally we became 40. On the
So it was a big family.
Yes. So I was fortunate that my father took me to live with him in Aba, where he was working with as a UN officer.
Okay, United Nations officer.
Yes, in the Aba General Hospital.
Okay.
So I lived with him all the time until when I went to secondary school.
So your father left your siblings at Umuahia.
Yes.
And took you to Aba.
Yeah,
How was Aba life in those days when you were growing up?
Yeah, because this was in the 60s when Nigeria got its independence newly. So life was very good. It was, I don't know, when I look at life now and at that time, I don't know how to compare life,
What are the things you remember? What made it so special?
Yeah, because that time people were more human, and then you can go anywhere you like, and then everybody's interested in everybody. It's just, nobody, you have to, even though Aba was a town, but we lived like as if we were in the villages, you have to greet everybody.
Okay.
And then everybody talk to you, and then all your neighbors. It was a
totally different,
very peaceful life, really. You can sleep, even open your windows, nobody comes out, nothing like burglary,
Wow.
So it was a different life at that time. So it was good.
So you look at it back with nostalgia.
Yeah, because now when I see how it is everywhere in my home, I don't want to mention Nigeria all the time, but when I see how it is now, I don't know how to
understand it.
To understand what is going on now.
Okay.
Really, because when I grew up in my early days in Aba, it was paradise.
And did you live in other parts of Nigeria?
Yeah.
Which parts did you?
I stayed in. I've lived in Jos.
Okay.
Because I used to be an NYC inspector.
Jos is in the north.
Yeah, Jos is in the north, and then I lived in Enugu also.
Okay.
Lagos, where I did my police training.
Okay. And
I lived in Sokoto.
Sokoto.
Yeah, Sokoto, because I stayed in Sokoto. That's where I spent most of my inspectorate life,
But when you were growing up, you stayed which part?
No.
Okay, that was later on.
That was later.
But when you were young, where did you stay?
When I was young, I stayed in Umuahia, in Aba.
But that's still in the east.
Yeah, that's
okay.
All. That's all.
Then, where did you have your education?
Yeah, I went to Assemblies of God Primary School in Aba. That was in the 60s, until then I went to Oboro Secondary School, which is in Umuahia, in 1967, when the Biafran War started. Okay. And we have to stop.
Yeah, we jumped straight to the Biafran War. Yeah. You were studying when the war came.
Yeah, I was in class 1.
What do you remember from it?
Yeah, that was in 1967. Normally the school year starts in January. So that was how it was in those days. So I was in class 1. Yeah. And then I started in January. Then around March, April, there was a lot of chaos in Nigeria. And suddenly you know, as very young people. So we were just listening to what is happening. Then suddenly the principal came one day, said, well, the school is closed, you know, because it's not possible to continue again. You better go home until further notice. So that was how, around March, April, I think it was around that time.
How old were you then?
Yeah, I should be about 13 or 14 years.
Okay, so you remember it very clearly.
I remember clearly, you know, 13 years, you know, that time, I think, something like that, yeah.
And what happened then?
So when we dispatched I went back to Aba again, because that was where my father stays, and then he's always welcoming me all the time. So when I went back there, then I stayed with my father. I said, oh, and then that time we were seeing a lot of things, people joining the army, and then, you know, it became, you have to go. So I had
mobilization.
Yeah, mobilizing everybody. So I decided to, because I also, my classmates, you know, people of my age within my neighborhood, then we decided to go and join the Biafran army.
13 years?
Yes. It was, yeah.
And you, did you join?
I went with them, because even to join the army, the Biafran army, we were playing football, and then the same place we were playing football, there was recruitment. People came to mobilize, you know, so we joined. Even my father didn't know when suddenly we were declared missing. But because, you know, we were many, and then people started saying, oh, but we saw those boys playing, maybe they joined the army. Because after taking us, then we were moved to Umuai, where the training depot was.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's how it happened.
From there, what did you do?
Yeah, so from there, after about 1.5 months training, so we were issued with numbers. But at that time, we were so small, even we were exempted from certain obstacles, you know, because if you are doing the army training, you know, there are certain things, you know, as an adult, you know, maybe you cannot be able to jump over certain things. So we were exempted from certain obstacles, like beehive, you know, the pit. So we were exempted. Also, there's a place where you have to hang yourself, you know.
Okay.
I mean, before you proceed to the next obstacle. So we were exempted from...
Because of your age?
Because of our age and height.
So after the training, what did you do?
So after the training, you know, we were taken to Azumbiri. That was the time Azumbiri sector of the war was on. So we were, one night, we were moved. But at the point of, at Azumbiri, when they were selecting properly those who they were to commit to the war front. So at that point, you know, they noticed that there were very young people who cannot be put forward. So they excluded us. So at that time, luckily for me, there was an officer who is from my village who used to be a teacher. So when he saw me, he said, no. So he asked me to go with that I should run back home.
Oh. But tell us, were you forcibly recruited or you joined?
No. Nobody forced. Even
you joined on your own?
Yes. Nobody forced me. So I went there, but at a point I was beginning to see that really it's not something a small boy can go into.
Just too
because I saw after a point, you know, I regretted going in. Yes.
Oh, okay. And so you came back home.
So I came back home because of that man. Then when I came back home again, I stayed in the village. But the problem I was having was people were, you know, saying, but this man was before in the army, so he's a straggler, you know, even though I was very small. So some families gossiping, he ran away, you know. So this thing became so much. And then at that time, Abba has fallen. So my father came back to stay in the village, you know, and then, so also my father used to be, any small thing, he's afraid. I don't know why, you know, he should be like that. So after a point, then he said, no, the best thing is, you know, you have to, you know, find a way to, because now villagers are going to gossip to the army, oh, this man ran back, you know, you have to come and take him. So what I did was, second time again, I joined the Biafran Army Engineers. I went there myself. At that time, I think I was about 14 plus.
So this time they took you?
Yes. So they took me there. And then that time I had the experience, so I was okay.
So you had this war?
Yes, I went. Okay. Then at that time, I was in Akarigbo. Okay. Yeah, in a place. So I stayed. So I was okay because already I've had the experience, training and everything. So I stayed.
Then how did the war affect your family?
Yeah, because I told you I came from a polygamous home, and then my two because my mother was the second wife. So the other mother had very, big, children. So her two sons were officers in the Biafran army.
Oh, yes.
You understand? So they went, so they were, even one was a captain, because these are people who were in Cambridge when I was in primary school,
okay.
who finished Cambridge. So you can see that there's so two of them were officers. Even those two were also, they are doctors in US now.
But throughout the war time, did you stay in the village or were you moving around?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, that I stayed. I came back.
Your family?
My family, there was never a time
they moved.
My family moved, because the war did not get to my village.
Okay.
Umuahia was the last place. And then that the Nigerian soldiers got to, that was the last place. So we were able to, at the time the war ended, we only ran inside the bush.
Okay.
And then came back after about 4 days.
Yeah. And the war lasted 30 months.
Yes.
There are a lot of, blame game around.
Yeah.
What do you think as an Igbo? What do you think is responsible for the war?
Yeah, for me at that time, because...
Not looking back now.
Looking back at the war, what, as a youth that time, as a teenager, what brought about the war was because many Igbos were massacred in the north. So we came, they showed us pictures of people beheaded, children, pregnant women, genocide. So that was what was in our mind. And that these people are coming, they're extending the genocide to Igbo land. So come out and defend their home. And that's the motivation. That was why we, even young people, joined the army to go and fight.
Did they explain to you also that the first coup in Nigeria, which was organized by Igbo officers, did they explain that or did they?
No.
Because the Hausa from their own side, they said their political leaders were killed by the Igbos who were in the army.
That is also the propaganda they're using. If you look at that queue very well, it's not the Igbos. There were some Yorubas there. It's just that the man who is the figurehead, one person cannot plan a queue. So it's not Igbo, but that's the propaganda the Northerners used to inflict genocide on the Igbos.
But they said that no Igbo leader was killed.
Yeah, but people can be lucky to escape.
Okay.
You know what I mean. You may be lucky to escape. It doesn't mean that you were exempted.
Looking back at this war, which is still regarded as the bloodiest in Africa, the Biafra War, are you still affected by it? Are you still affected by it?
No, because I'm not affected, because nobody in my family lost his life, but what happened, you know what happened, that people, children, were shocked and all those things, but I'm not, even, I think the war, sometimes, because sometimes, disappointment could be a blessing in disguise, that make people to be more hardened. It's not, you don't give up easily,
So the war really hardened the Igbos?
Yeah, it hardened, because we lived in very, the worst condition you can ever think of during the Civil War. I don't know how people, people could go through that stage, So that is, it hardens you, to keep on going in your life,
And almost 30 years or 30 plus years after the war, the Igbo still have problem integrating into the Nigerian body politics. What do you think that?
No, not the Igbo have problem, because the Igbos are unwanted in Nigeria.
They are unwanted in Nigeria?
Yeah, they're not wanted in Nigeria, So they, if you are not wanted, then you have to be on your own.
Why do you think they're not wanted?
Yeah, because when the war ended, there were certain things. Gawan, who prosecuted the war, there were things he propagated, that
no
victor, no vanquish, that the Igbos will be integrated again, blah, blah, blah. Those things became a fallacy. So he didn't, mean it. And then, already, from the time the war ended, the Igbos were treated as conquered people.
Up till now?
Yes, up till now. And I don't want to say so much. Everybody knows, because there are things that are very glaring. Everybody sees.
But we've had the Igbo first president, and we've had the Igbo general, the Inspector General of Police is an Igbo guy.
No, but it was not yesterday. After pushing the man around, and then after pushing him, then pitifully, people think, why is this thing happening to him? That man who is the IG of police now, he was. Balogun was his junior. Balogun was his junior, so Balogun was made the IG. Now, the other Okiro from also was made the IG while he was there. So if really that man has gone, he would have resigned a long time ago. But he was. So now it became so piteous, you know, with that Ayarado, and they say, oh, this man, oh, he cannot resign, you know, because now we take pity on him. That's why they just made him the IG.
Viewers, we'll take this short break. When we come back, we'll continue with the discussion. Okay.
On this program, Focus on Africans, hosted by the popular Pan-African writer Femi Akomolafe, who has devoted his entire life to championing African cause. We highlight this problem and try to look for solution. Focus on Africans is a program to watch, to meet with those with passion to build a better African for ourselves and the coming generations. Focus on Africans. Together, we can build a better Africa.
Welcome back, viewers. The program is Focus on Africans. Today we are chatting with Chief Akarigbo Okoro, who is telling us about the Igbo marginalization in the Nigerian body politics. Chief, politics is about forming alliances. There are three big groups in Nigeria: the Yoruba, the Igbos, and the Hausas. Why is it? Why do the Igbos find it difficult to form alliance with any of the groups?
But as I said, you know, the Igbos are very much willing to form alliance, but the other groups, they don't want the Igbos. That's what I've been saying all the time.
The Hausas were able to form alliance with Yoruba. The Yoruba were able to form alliance with the Hausas.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, because, you know, because that was not, that was before.
Yeah, but before, now we're talking of
when they prosecuted the war,
yeah,
that was before, because of the interest of Awolowo, because Awolowo already had his own selfish interest. You know,
but we're talking 30 years later.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That was why that alliance took place in the first place. Because Awolowo was the one who made it possible for the Yorubas to come with the Hausas to prosecute the war against the Igbos. It was Awolowo's personal interest. But if not that he did it, it wouldn't have worked. Because already there was a town, he vowed to let the Yorubas go if the Igbos go. Yeah. But he turned back.
The war ended in 1970. Yeah, and a lot of things has happened since then. There have been a lot of military coups, civilian governments, and there was an Igbo vice president under Shagari. There is a Yoruba presidency which was aborted, and later on Obasanjo came. Now the question is, no one group in Nigeria can become president without forming alliance with another group. So the Yorubas and the Hausas were able to work, forming alliance. The question now is, the Igbos, why is it possible to form alliance to get their objectives in politics?
Let me make it very categorically clear here now that there was never a genuine election in Nigeria. Okay. Everything is just fallacy. Yeah. So when you are talking about forming alliance and election, there is nothing like election in Nigeria. Yeah. These are chessboard where people get together and then they say, oh, this one is Hausa man.
Why is it not possible for the Igbo to be selected?
Yeah, because under that circumstance, already there is the Igbo man who is conquered, you know, he's just somebody who is...
How did they feel conquered?
No, but that's the Nigerian mentality on the Igbos, you know. Yeah. You are not the one, I'm talking about those who are in Nigeria. Yeah. The Igbo man is a conquered person. He has properties everywhere in the north, and then it's called abandoned property in his own country. Yeah. So the Igbos are not wanted in Nigeria for any reason.
If anybody get to Nigeria,
there is no way they can form an alliance, because the Igbo man is somebody who doesn't want to be part of Nigeria.
They dominate the commercial life of Nigeria.
Yeah, but the dominance is different. It's just like the Jews. Yeah. The Jews dominated. I mean, during Hitler's time, the Jews were everywhere. Is it not? Okay. And then because of jealousy, you know, the Hitler tried to single them out because they think, you know, oh, these people are so prosperous. We have to deal with them. You know, the Jews, the Gypsies. You know, Hitler. So the problem is that the Igbo man is somebody who is so commercialized. You know, he tried to invest his money everywhere, sometimes foolishly. So the people are jealous of him, and that is as after the war. That's how people think.
So you think that the Igbos have no responsibility for their own marginalization? They're not responsible for it. You think it's the fault of the other groups?
Yeah, that's what I've been saying. You know, because whoever that controls the government controls the people. if you are able to control Hitler was able to control the government. That was how he inflicted genocide on the Jews. I mean, if we go by what history says.
If you look at the
so what I'm saying is the marginalization. Whoever the Hausa man controls the government, not even the Yoruba. The Hausa man has been in charge of the government of Nigeria since it's just that Obasanjo just came here, and then the Hausa man is still in charge.
Okay.
So, which means whatever the Hausa man, because the Hausa man is very much anti-Igbo, he is the one that formulates the policy.
Let's move from to what you did after the war. What did you do?
After the war?
Yeah.
After the Civil War, I went back to secondary school again.
To complete your education.
Then finished in 1973. I got my WASC. Then I joined the Nigeria Police Force. And then worked in River State, Ogoniland. Then after working there, then
So you were a policeman?
I was a policeman, a police constable. And while in the police, I was able to read my GCE advanced level. I passed economics and geography.
Okay.
Still, I couldn't get promoted in the Nigerian police.
You remain a constable?
I was still a constable. Even though I tried to write, that I have my A-level and copied everything, still they didn't want to help me, even to send me to become an inspector. Already with my WASC, I'm supposed to be an inspector of police. Because while in the police college, I see people from the north with a school cert, they were all inspectors, cadet inspectors.
So those were still the problems after the Civil War?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can see what I mean now. So I said no, because of this, so I had to one day pack my kids, gave it to them. Then I resigned. Then we went to Italy. That's what happened. I went to Italy.
Okay. But what do you remember from the police force? You remember the police force? What were the things you were doing? Apart from taking bribes?
Yeah, but anyway, there's a general duty for every policeman. It's already stated in the Constitution what you're supposed to do as a policeman. So those things are...
What do you remember from it?
Yeah?
What do you remember?
Yeah, the job of the police is to protect life and property. Yeah, that's the basic one.
You were fed up and then you went to Italy?
Yeah, I was fed up because after passing my A-level, nothing. And then I was working with people, even with primary six from the north. From the north,
they were your
from Cross River, from River State.
They were your superior?
No, we were the same.
I mean in rank?
No, just constable.
Oh, okay, constable.
So those people were just primary six holders from River State, from Akwa Ibom.
You were only the same rank?
Only the Yorubas, so many have a G4. So I was just like them. Nothing. Even those people, whatever you want to do, if you want to neatness to starch their this thing, the Calabas, they will do it.
Okay.
100, because these are former house boys that finally they are a master say, okay, I don't know how to settle you, let me help you to join the police.
And then you came to Italy. Why did you choose Italy? Yeah,
because when I left Nigeria, I used to have a very good friend also who was in the police with me. I mean, in Port Harcourt. So that was the man who, he also tried to pass one paper. He passed economics. So he told me, why not we go to Italy? I said, well, anywhere, because even at that time I didn't know that Italian is the language used in there, So I said anywhere. Then it was even this man who went to Lagos and brought the visa for me. I never went to the embassy to go and get the visa.
It was easy in those days.
Very easy. The one day Mr. Wolabi gave him the he got the visa, and then we came to Italy together. Left the police. Yeah.
Yoruba man.
Yeah, that man was working at the Italian embassy that time, so he was the one who issued the student visa.
You came from Nigeria, experienced the war as a child, and then you came to Italy. What was the first thing that struck you when you got to Europe?
Yeah, so when I got to Italy, it was another world altogether, because
tell us.
even though I didn't have so much money, because I think I left Nigeria with something like £80 as a student.
Which was big money.
I still have my old passport now to show it. In those days. So I left but £80 is a small money for a student. Because when I got to Rome airport, the immigration was asking me, is this pocket money? But you have a student visa, how come? This money, is it? But as God wanted it, because I didn't know that they can push me, but I didn't even think of that. Okay. But as God wanted it, I told him, say, well, this is just pocket money for me to stay for 1 week. because the actual money is coming by transfer.
Okay.
He said, okay. I said,
Okay.
and that was a good time when whatever you say, they honor it.
But what was your first impression of Europe?
Yeah, when I got to Italy, it was it was a different world, because everything is organized. You see a different environment from what, so it became exciting. Yeah, it's normal.
What are the things you did
in Italy? Yeah, when I got to Italy, also I tried to start.
Life again.
Especially my friend, came from a very rich family. So when we were coming, they mobilized a lot of money for him. So he had a lot of money on him. But for me, I didn't have anything. So even though he said, well, I'll try to help you, I was thinking there was job in Italy. So when I got there was no work. Even I tried to seek, even because normally you ask people who are there before you. So everybody was telling me, work, forget it.
Oh.
So after staying in Italy for about 2 months, it was so much for me. I could.
How did you survive it?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to look at now. When at a point, there was no way I can survive in Italy. At a point, even the Nigerian embassy, that was a long time ago, 1977. Just the Nigerian embassy was open, asking people to come for deportation freely. Even they brought, that time, I was looking at everything, just like film. They brought a very big bus from Rome, Nigerians, that you can come in, then you'll be taken care of until you go.
This was so terrible.
That is why when I look at people now, young people, they say Italy here, I just laugh. Because that was a long time ago, 1977, that this situation was occurring. So imagine.
It's not a new thing.
At that point, I didn't know what to do in Italy, really. I was thinking, but if I go back again now, and then, there's no brotherhood in jungle. So my friend also, that had a lot of money, he tried to
manage his money.
To wash his hands off me a bit. So when I saw the situation, I knew that I was going to any moment. Even I was thinking, how do I go home now? And then when I remember my people at home, remember the circumstances that pushed me out of Nigeria, I said no.
So what happened to you?
So what I did was after looking at the whole situation, I said no. That instead of me to go back home, let me end it here, if it's possible. So what I did was I went to my friend. I told him, look, we came together, but I have to look for another country to go. He said, but where are you going? Why not you stay here? Let me try to write your people letter. They should bring money, this and that. I said, no, I don't have anybody. So, but he said, well, he doesn't encourage me to go anywhere. But finally, I said no, because I was listening to many Nigerians, hearing information and everything. So people were telling me that Israel, you can get a lot of job in Israel.
Okay.
And at that time, there was no Nigerian embassy in Israel. And then everybody was afraid to go there. Everybody said, but suppose something happened to you there, what are you going to do? And then they are fighting there, Arabs.
But you went there?
I went. I said, let me go. But also going there wasn't easy also. Because when I got to the embassy, I was asked to show, because they said, oh, you want a visiting visa? I said, yes. Okay, you have to show us $1,050 cash.
So how did you get the visa? How did you get the visa?
You see, so that was the question they put to me. So I said, what do I do now? Because I left Perugia, because I was in Perugia, which is about 8 hours from here. When they told me you have to show me $1,050 and then to and fro ticket, then your student ID. The only requirement I had was the student ID, because I registered for language school. So I didn't have money. So I said, what do I do now? Then I went back to that place. But you see, there are things in life, sometimes God uses other people to help you. So at this point, I didn't know what to do, because what was left with me was only 30 pounds.
Out of your 80?
Yeah, out of that 80, 30 pounds was left. Even I counted this one, I was living below. We were about 4 living in a garage. 4 living since I came. While my friend was living in New Perugia in a furnished house with television.
You were living in a garage.
So when I saw the situation, I knew really I didn't know where to get this money. So I had to go back to my friend again. I told him, say, look, what you can help me to do, because I don't want to be deported.
Okay.
What you do is, try to, because this man, the day they were sending him off, his brother gave him $2,000. And then he has a sister that is a manager with John Holt in Nigeria. That sister gave him 1,500 pounds.
Okay.
So he has a lot of money. When I say, so I try to tell him, say, look, if you can help me, I take you to Rome. Just change $1,050. When I'm going, you give it to me. Then when I come out, I'll pay for your transport. He agreed.
Okay.
But he disappointed me.
So how did you finally get it? How did you finally get it? How did you finally get it?
Finally, how I got this. That's why when I said I don't go to church, but I believe, that is God. That how I got to Israel was miracle. So what I did was, already I have to pay something like $275 to and fro ticket as a student. Because I have to get student. I didn't have this money, so I had to ask my mother, because I didn't know any other person to ask for money. Okay. Then I have to write my mother a letter. I wrote a letter that I was having a lot of problem, that I don't want to come back. So my mother had to sell her cassava farm.
Send you the money.
So mobilize $202. Then I use that money. Even it's not enough also, because already my friend promised me. So I thought I've gotten, if I get this one now. So finally, when my friend disappointed me, I didn't know what to do again. Because the morning we planned to go to the embassy.
It didn't come.
Even he told me he has everything. Then that morning, after buying his own ticket, then I went to his house. I waited in the bus stop. In the bus. Then it was almost.
How did you get the? Let's talk about the visa. How did you get?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. That this man disappointed me, and also when I went to buy the ticket, they told me it was 300, 200 and something. Then I said I had to beg the woman. Yeah, because
the woman selling the ticket.
Yeah, because I was in the line causing confusion. People were looking at me until the woman who is the manager coming in, he said no. Because everybody was looking at me, making. Okay. Then he told me it's okay. I told this one, please help me. I want to leave this country, because he said, okay, but you have to promise me if I give you to return, that you will never come back with the return. I said, I promise. So that woman issued me that ticket.
Okay.
And then, but when I went to my friend to give me that money, he disappointed me that early morning. And then when I tried to ring the bell, he opened his attic, told me, say, look, I've told you, don't go to Israel. Stay there so that I can help you. I said, but why did you not tell me this? But I cannot give you my money. I don't want to play with my money. So, but God forced me to go into the bus, and then I went to Rome. So when I got to Rome, I didn't know what I was going to do, because I knew I was, but one force was pushing me. So when I got to Rome, the street where the embassy is, so it was about 50 meters to get to the embassy. I met an Ethiopian man who was going in front of me. So I tried to pass this man. So when I passed him, he called me, brother. I said, yes. Brother. Then I told him, I said, yes. Can I help you? He said, yeah. I'm going to Israel. He said, yeah, I'm going to Israel too. That's the embassy there. He said, yeah. Then I thought I have to. Then I stopped. I said, look, you're going to Israel? He said, yes. He said he's a seller, that his ship is in Haifa. I said, okay, no problem. That I have a problem, brother. He said, what is the problem you have? I said, look, I don't have. They said I have to show 1,000. I don't have. He said, but I give you.
The Ethiopian guy.
I still remember this man's name, Shefa.
Okay.
This man pulled his wallet, his winter coat, leather winter coat. He pulled it, and brought out a purse. It was filled with dollars.
And he gave you 1,500.
Then he put it back. He brought the other purse again. It was a lot of pounds. He said, what will happen is, I will stop there. When you go, I give you the dollars. Just show them. It's more than 2,000 there. Just show them. Then you bring it back to me. Okay. That was how I got the visa. But also, when I got there, the man gave me the dollars. I went in. They did not ask me again. I met a woman from the embassy who asked me.
Okay. So you go to Israel. What did you do in Israel?
So when I got to Israel, as God wanted it, this man also, I traveled with him in the same plane to Israel. So when I got to Israel, while in the plane, I met a Nigerian, Gabriel Osifo. That man is from Bender. So that man works in a kitchen somewhere in La Rome Hotel in Elat. So he told me, look, I told him I'm looking for work. He said, no problem.
We'll fix you.
That he'll fix me. Then he went, so when we got to La Rome Hotel, he gave me a job.
So your experience in Israel was totally different from the Roman.
Yes. I had to work in Israel, work very hard, and then I made a lot of money.
For how long were you there?
I was in Israel for about 8 months.
And you made enough money to...
Yes. I had a lot of money.
And what happened?
Yeah, so I had to go to Greece. From Greece also I went to US. So that's how I did.
Yeah.
Finally.
I'm going to ask you about you stayed in the US for how long?
For about 4 years plus.
Did you realize your American dream?
Yes. I mean, finally, because sometimes there is a way God help everybody also. So it was easy for me to get to US, enroll in a school, because I used to have the two brothers. That one was a captain also. He did not financially, but he tried to push me in. Then I was able to graduate, got a bachelor's degree.
What did you study?
Economics. So
Okay.
with that one, then I thought I have to go back home. So which I did.
To Nigeria.
We went back home where I worked for almost 12 years.
And then you were in Nigeria for 12 years. Why did you decide to come back to Europe?
Yeah, because my wife, I stayed with the Dutch woman all the time.
In the US?
No, in Nigeria.
Okay.
So I stayed with the Dutch woman in Nigeria, and then we had the two sons.
Okay.
So because we lived all the time in Sokoto. So because of that, this woman couldn't. I had as a senior officer, I had a very big house with even gate man and all those things, So, but the problem is that at a point when there was a lot of religious disturbance, she couldn't cope up with
detention.
Oh, I can't sleep well. I don't know if they will come here to burn this house. They will kill you. A lot of. So at a point, she couldn't. So she said, why not, we come back here. Even at a point, I didn't want to.
So you came to she's Dutch, you came to the Netherlands with her?
Yeah, I came with her. We even when I graduated in 1981, I went with her to live in Nigeria.
Okay.
So I didn't come here to play. I just went to live in Nigeria.
Yeah, you came here and then you established the biggest African art shop
in Amsterdam, yeah.
Tell us the story, how did it happen?
Yeah, when I came here in 1990. So when I came here, I tried to, because I really don't like to work. I like to do things on my own. I like to take ventures. So that was the time that the Naira was falling.
Okay.
So I thought, that would be a good time to buy handicraft, to sell here.
Okay.
So what I did was, before I left Nigeria, that was why I was telling you that I had to pack things like this, 1 ton of art.
Artwork, yeah.
So I had to buy a lot of things, because I used to have 2 cars. So I bought these things, filled them in a crate, then came here. So when I came to Holland, I tried to sell these things. I was in a small market inside, I don't know if you know Jordan.
Yeah, you're there.
Yes, I used to be in a small market house there. Okay. So there, I tried these things. It was going very well.
Okay, that's how you entered the
Yes, because I made a lot of customers there who encouraged me to start a shop.
Okay. Were you selling arts only from Nigeria or from all over Africa?
Everywhere. Even there is nobody. You see, somebody was calling Thomas Mann here. Thomas Mann is somebody. There are also a lot of people from Ghana. Nana Ajuma. And Ajua also. One Ajua used to ship containers here.
Artwork.
Yes. I think that woman now is somewhere in Accra now selling cement, Omo and Bonvita, wholesale. Okay. So that woman they used to sell a lot, few container with cane chairs, And
you were their contact here?
Yes. So they used to bring these things here to me. So it was a lot of business at that time.
For how long did you run the business?
Yeah.
For how long? How many years?
Yeah, for 16 years I stayed in business.
16 years.
16 years.
And then the shop fell. What happened?
Yeah, so when ordinarily, because of the economic meltdown and the 911 issue, that started paralyzing businesses. So when it happened, there was nothing I can do, because even after 16 years and the whole thing collapsed, I had to declare bankruptcy. And that's how.
Chief, viewers, we take this. Unfortunately, business went bust. You hold the chieftaincy title.
Yes.
Can you explain to us what type of title it is?
Yeah, because the people from my home in Abia State, you know why? So when they looked at me, because they knew when I left Nigeria, they knew how I came home with a Dutch woman, and then they knew my children, and then they knew I worked as an officer. You see, so it's not only business, you know, everywhere, both in academics and in business. So when they assessed me, and then they tried to look at my record from the beginning, so they had to give me that title, Ujemba One.
Ujemba One. What does
Ujemba One is somebody who visited a foreign land, number one. Traveler, number one. Let me make it. Traveler, number one. Because everybody, you know, chieftaincies, you know, they assess you and then they know what to give you. So they think that in my home, that this is somebody who clearly came abroad and then tried to make the best use of whatever he has, and then to show it in his own village.
As a chief, what are you supposed to be doing? What are the responsibility of your office?
Yeah, normally when you're a chief, you know, you're there for the community, you know, to advise the community and then try to help, if you have the means, of course, help the people, especially advisor.
And do you do that?
Try to make peace.
In the community.
You see, so these are the, because, so that's...
How often do you go?
2 times a year.
Okay, 2 times a year. And we have to go back to Biafra. You are currently the chairman of the Biafran Freedom Movement. What is the aim of this organization?
To get independence for the Igbos.
Independence for the Igbos?
Igbos in Nigeria, To actualize Biafra.
So there's still the Biafran project is still ongoing for you?
Yes. Not only for me, every
Igbo.
Every Igbo man, except those who are part of the looting in Nigeria. Who are part of, you know what I mean? The slave masters.
There's a quotation which I like from Chief Chinua Achebe, the great writer, that the problem of Africa, of Nigeria, is that of leadership. Why do you think that the Igbo's problem can be solved outside the Nigerian problem?
Yeah.
How do you think?
Yeah, the Igbos, they're just like any other community, you know. What we know in my home, you have to be a good citizen to be able to live with their people. In Igbo land, you cannot function if you're not okay. People will come to the village to tell you, look, you are not the first, you are not the... And then they try to discipline you, deal with you. That's how what people... The Igbos, they respect the law. But because of the situation in Nigeria, where the bad man becomes a boss, because the system encourages rogues or ritualists. They want people to... If you are part of the bad, then you are the boss. And then if whoever that doesn't want it, he just invites the police, they whisk you out.
And that's the question I'm going to ask you. The Igbos are not facing problems which are not being faced by other Nigerians, other Africans, but leadership. And the Igbo political elite are also not so different from the Yoruba elite or the Hausa elite. They are busy, they are stealing the money. Who are you going to get the angels to lead Biafra?
No. Because they are doing that because the system does not prosecute them.
So as soon as they are Biafra, this thing will go away?
Yeah, because if... you came from a certain tribe in Nigeria, you are from Yoruba. Then if the Yorubas are there, you cannot steal their money. They deal with you. Look, this is our money.
And so you think that...
So Nigeria is a lot of ethnicities, more than 250 tribes. Oh, this is one Yoruba, you shouldn't disturb him. You know, this is... So because of this, lot of, you know, people don't focus well. The system makes it that there's no accountability. The system, you know it already.
But do you think that breaking Nigeria into 250 parts will solve the problem?
No, I'm not saying 250 parts, but if people are seeking the independence, if somebody, what you want to do, if there is a freedom of, if it's association and then you want a separate entity. So what is the problem? Why are you opposing it?
Yeah, but the big question now is can Biafra be achieved peacefully, or should we be expecting another Biafra war?
No. What I'm saying is this is a modern age. You don't have to start fighting. If people, look at in Britain, if people from
Scotland,
from Scotland say they want to go away, then they wouldn't be fighting. So why shouldn't it happen in Nigeria? Because this is how already there are differences in culture, religion, and everything.
In Nigeria, you mean?
Then there's no peace in the foreseeable future. Why not everybody go? I mean, I'm not saying everybody go because there are people who are interested in Nigeria, but my people want to be out of Nigeria. That was why what we fought for before.
Then we come to the problem of the Igbos are also in Akwa Ibom, they are in Cross River, they are in River State. So if these people don't want to be part of the Biafran group, what happens to them? The people in the Niger Delta?
No, we are not talking of people.
Are you talking?
I mean, we are not talking of Niger Delta. Niger Delta is not Igbo.
Cross River.
I mentioned. No,
rivers. You have Igbos in the rivers.
No, but those people don't want Biafra. So they can. That's why we are saying that they can be with Nigeria.
But they are afraid of Igbo nationalism.
No, but look, if you say you don't want to belong, then you don't have to belong.
Okay.
Nobody is forcing anybody.
So you're organizing.
When I mentioned it, I said Igbo. And then when I'm talking about it, I'm talking about people who are yearning for Biafra. Because really, you know it, 90% of Igbos want Biafra. You know it already, I don't have to say it.
Yeah, but then there's this question of Pan-African project of building a united Africa. How does the Biafran project fit into this?
Yeah, because you cannot just be at the expense of others. You cannot build something at the expense of others. You know, there are people who are there, and then how long will people continue to suffer under waste, living, in poverty amongst plenty. So that is why that we cannot afford to sacrifice ourselves, because of building the African project. So I think the best thing, the best solution here is that whoever that want to quit should quit, provided there's a very designable boundary. Then there is no problem.
What is the boundary of Biafra then?
Yeah, the boundary. There's no land dispute between Biafra and Akwa Ibom or rivers. Those people that don't want Biafra, the boundary is clear.
But you're an African. When you go home and you see the situation back home, what are the things that pains you the most in Africa?
When I go home now, I don't feel comfortable. Even though that I have to go to my home.
What are the things that pains you?
Yeah, because when I go home and then nothing is organized, nothing is working.
Like,
I don't know. Yeah, nothing is working. Is there anything that is working in my home? Tell me, is there anything working? Tell me.
What do you think?
No.
Okay. What do you think is going wrong? What do you think we're doing wrong then? What do you think the people in Nigeria are doing or in Africa are doing wrong?
No, I'm not saying Africa, because there are some countries that I was surprised that small countries in Africa, they're doing very well. Okay. I'm talking about Nigeria. Okay. Some other countries are good in Africa.
Okay. For the benefit of our viewers, can you explain to us what Biafra is?
Biafra is a territory, in Nigeria. And then that territory is made up of the Igbos. Even though there are some other ethnicities that say they want to belong, but I don't want to hope on them, because that was also what failed the Biafran project when we tried to secede. Okay. You see, because those people that say they are part of you, they came around to be against you. So when I'm talking about Biafra, I'm talking about the Igbos. And we have a homeland in Nigeria.
Nigeria has 36 states. So how many states are we talking about when we talk about Biafra?
Yeah, when we talk of Biafra, we are talking about the Igbos, which make up about 5 states in Nigeria. So that's what I'm talking about. Okay. And then whoever that want to be part of it from our neighbors, they are welcome. But if they don't want...
Well, realistically, Chief, how feasible do you think the Biafra project is?
Very, very feasible, because Nigeria will never survive. I'm very sure of what I'm saying.
You really?
I'm very sure of what I'm saying. Nigeria will never survive what is going on.
Tell us some of the dreams or let's call it the objectives of Biafra.
Yeah, Biafra is I'm not trying to put the people up, but already the Biafrans, they are industrials. They invest their money. They are very much commercial, intellectuals. You know it already. So I think when there is Biafra, then those people will come back. Many of them are on exile now. Professionals, they will come back to use whatever that is within that territory to build a Biafra land.
What do you think they're going to do different from what the people on the ground are doing at the moment?
No, but there's nothing people on the ground are doing. What people on the ground are doing, they're just taking the oil money and then they quash it.
But
this is very clear.
There are also Igbo people. The governors are Igbo.
Yeah, I'm not saying, I've already said, there are Igbos who are slave masters. Who wouldn't want Biafra? Those are the governors. because they are part of the system. That is the part of the suffering in Nigeria.
When we run to this problem now, these people they are holding the reins of government at the moment. They are Igbos.
Yeah.
So are you coming with your Biafran idea? Do you think there's going to be clash? Don't you think there's going to be clash between?
There is already clash because these are people looting Nigeria. These are part of the looters.
So how are you going to solve the problem?
No, but Nigeria will collapse on its own.
And when Nigeria collapse, the people will.
Yes, then they will run. They will be on exile because already we have them on the list. Yes, all the governors, they will run away from Biafra land. Otherwise, they will be.
Okay.
I'm saying it here because you will show this in Ghana. They will listen to me. And then,
There was this massive movement for the actualization of the state of Biafra operating in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Are those this type of structure you are building already?
Massov also has Biafran actualization in the agenda. You understand what I mean? I'm saying, we know people because this Biafran something has been going on for many years. We know the governors that are anti-Biafra. Most of them have already killed a lot of people agitating for Biafra with the connivance of the Nigerian government and their security. So we know all this thing already. They are in their books. So they know it also. So if Nigeria collapses, they should run away.
Okay.
If they want to remain alive.
Well, Chief, when I go to the Nigerian net or the Biafran net, I see a lot of animosity, a lot of hatred. Why do people keep on...
Hatred on who?
And the way they're agitating, blaming, and talking about the Hausa or the Igbos, or the Hausa, the Yoruba, the other tribes. I see a lot of hatred.
No, but I have to say the truth.
Yeah.
I have to say it's better to say the truth. Nigeria problem, the way it is now, you cannot, nobody in Biafra land who witnessed the war and then who saw how Nigeria has been prosecuting anti-Igbo agenda up to today will be happy. You see what I mean? But it doesn't mean you have to hate because you are not the one. Most people were not born at that time, so you don't have to hate anybody. The only thing is to prosecute your agenda, how to actualize Biafra. There's no hatred.
Yeah, the question is, why can't people also think of reconciliation? Let's build a big country, or a big continent, where people can feel it. Why separatism?
Because there is no justice, equity, and fair play. If you have a family, 5 children, 4 children, and then you treat this one different, then there will never be peace in your house. Okay. So that is the problem with Nigeria.
The question I'm going to ask is, you also have plans to go back home.
I have to go home.
Why do you think Africa makes very, very bad immigrants? We always think of going back to Africa. Why? What, in your opinion, is responsible for that?
Yeah, because anyway, I don't know. You also have there's a proverb in my place that says, the man does not get stuck in a foreign land. There's a way we say it, that there is no way you can get stuck in a foreign land. There is a time that even with all the money, assuming I have money here, there is a time I cannot stay in Holland anymore. Because we believe in ancestors. They will come here to
call you back home.
Then you
really?
You start, yes, my brother.
What are your plans for the future?
Yeah, very easy. My 2 daughters are still underage. One is 15 now. The other one is 11 years. So I want them to become of age. I try to be part of Holland until they become of age. I want to go back home to my country, to my house. I'm not talking about. I want to go back to my home. And then
what are you going to do at home?
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Yeah, because already I have everything. I have a big house. I'll make sure that I have 24 hours light and electricity, which already I'll put a borehole, which I'm already there busy. So I want to be sure that I'm okay. That's all.
Okay.
Because what do I need? I need only electricity.
And what plans do you have for the community?
Yeah, when I get home, I want to be part of. I want to try to advise young people in the community on what to do to make themselves okay in life. I try to also use part of my experience to tell them, to encourage them in what they're doing. I think I will be a good advisor, really.
To the chief?
Because of my experience.
Thank you very much, Chief Okoro. It has been very interesting talking to you.
My pleasure.
Okay, then. And thank you very much, viewer, for watching this rather sharp exchanges on Focus on Africans. The program is Focus on Africans, and we bring it to you every week. We try to talk to Africans and also friends and people connected with Africa to discuss issues related to our continent. My name is Femi Akomolafe, and I have been working with Smaila Sulemana, Maria Noboye, Sadatu Sulemana, Rami Akomolafe, and Agre Westerfeld. Until next week, when I hope you will join us on another edition of Focus on Africans. I say, Ireo. Bye-bye.